It is late, but Merry Christmas. It officially turned Christmas 22 minutes ago. It is midnight, 12:22 a.m. at the time of recording this. I'm super tired. I had a chance to see A Complete Unknown earlier today. I'm also going to see Baby Girl as well. Just trying to keep up with these videos. But before we start this, if you guys want to check out my feature film Pesadilla, it's available on Amazon right now. You can also get the physical copy on Blu-ray. You can pre-order it. It would mean the world to me. Also, you can check out my link tree down below. Check out my short films, my filmography, my social media. If you're another filmmaker, I'm always looking to collaborate. Just meet new people. But let's talk about Robert Eggers' new film, Nosferatu. He's one of my favorite directors working today. I had a chance to see an early screen. Well, I don't really know if it was exactly early, but it was an RPX at the Regal. So that was cool. The screen was really big. So that's always a good thing. If you're not familiar with what Nosferatu is, it was basically not necessarily, okay, let's just be honest. It was kind of like a copy of Dracula in a way. There's a lot of different stories that you'll hear about it, but I really do enjoy the material. I mean, I've seen the original silent film, I've seen Werner Herzog's 1979 version, and now we have Robert Eggers' modern day interpretation of Nosferatu. Apparently this was a film that he's always wanted to make. Being a big fan of The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman, and now this, I've seen all of his films in theaters. I was pretty excited. And if you're not familiar, I'll just read you guys the official synopsis. In the 1830s, estate agent Thomas Hutter travels to Transylvania for a fateful meeting with Count Orlok, a prospective client. In his absence, Hutter's new bride, Ellen, is left under the care of her friends, Frederick, Anna Harding. Plagued by the horrific visions and the increasing sense of dread, Ellen soon encounters an evil force that is far beyond her control. So the premise itself is very simple, and it's the same in all three films. There's a man who is going to meet Count Orlok or Dracula, Nosferatu, whatever, and they are discussing property. Now, that might not sound too exciting, but believe me, it is a lot more exciting than it's made out to be. One thing that I will say about Nosferatu, Robert Eggers' version, it's very stylistic. It's definitely the more stylistic of the three. I would probably have to say the original one might be right behind that, and then Werner Herzog's. Werner Herzog's is very, I guess you could say, a little bit bright. And Klaus Kinski, I mean, he's also great as Nosferatu, but Alexander Skarsgård as Nosferatu in Nosferatu, he was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. His accent, it was really engaging. Like hearing it in the theater, it was very, it really did sort of rumble your brain a little bit. And the film itself stars Bill Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe, Lily Rose Depp, Emma Corrin, Nicholas Hoult, Ralph Ineson. I hope I'm saying that right. Or it's probably Innocent something. I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. And Aaron Taylor Johnson. Willem Dafoe, of course, you see him in anything. He is always really just bombastic, and his approach to, his performance, his methods are just, I love Willem Dafoe. I hope to see him in every Robert Eggers project going forward. And also Lily Rose Depp was also really good as well. Everybody was great. I mean, the performances were amazing. The cinematography looked great. There was a weird moment in the trailer, and I don't know if it's completely different in the trailer or the film. Maybe I'm just completely sleep deprived, but I think one of the shots were flipped, because in the trailer when you see Nicholas Hoult riding his horse down this path, in the theater it was kind of flipped around. There were a couple of things in the trailer as well that I don't think were in the film. And if you're going into this film expecting Nosferatu the vampire to be a big presence, you might be a little bit disappointed. I do think his presence is a lot more known in the original, in the 1979 version. And this one, he's sort of kept in the shadows, no pun intended. But I do think that's for the best, because every single time that you see Nosferatu on the screen, it really does make for this very engaging sort of experience that you have, because there's not one moment wasted whenever Bill Skarsgård, Nosferatu, is sort of taking center fold. Also, some of the set design in this is amazing, and the costumes are really, really good. I mean, this film, I wouldn't necessarily say that it goes places that you wouldn't expect, because it is very much so faithful to its original source material, although I do believe you can watch all three Nosferatu films, which I actually yesterday revisited the other two before getting into this one. I actually had never seen Werner Herzog's, but I mean the original one is a classic, and then also you have SpongeBob, which is completely a joke. But this film is definitely the more stylistic of the bunch. If I had to put a ranking on this film for Robert Eggers' filmography, and I don't mean this in a bad way whatsoever, it's probably my least favorite of Robert Eggers' films, just because I adore The Lighthouse. I mean, The Lighthouse is one of my favorite films in recent, not recent memory, but you know, it's one of my favorite films of the 21st century. I mean, for sure. And then also The Witch would probably come after that. I really do love The Witch, and The Northman has definitely grown on me. I mean, my rewatch for that was really, it hit me a lot. I really did enjoy The Northman. And then it would be Nosferatu, and I think with Nosferatu, the reason being is because there's also other source material behind that. There was even another like remake of the silent film that came out last year as well. But I do think that, if I'm being completely honest, I think my favorite interpretation of the Nosferatu story is definitely Werner Herzog's, because in the 1979 version, which I know we're talking about the modern day one, the 2024 version, but in the Werner Herzog approaching the castle, whenever Hutter is approaching the castle and he goes through that cave system and the water's flowing, there's just a way that Herzog films that it really did stick out to me the most. But I will say Nosferatu in the newer version, Robert Eggers' version, is probably my favorite iteration of Nosferatu. Klaus Kinski is great as well. Probably my least favorite. And also another thing that this film does, which I don't want to get into any spoilers, but it is a very fresh adaptation of the source material. Like, they don't really pay homage to certain scenes like the 1922 and the 1979 versions do. This film definitely does hold its own, and you can tell that Robert Eggers had a lot of love with it. You can tell that he was very passionate about this film, and I really just sort of love the direction that he went with it. I'm very excited to see what he does next. Apparently it's called The Night, and then he's working on a Western. It's nice to just have a director that is focused on a lot of these period films and touching on stuff that you wouldn't normally see other directors touch on, and if they did, it would probably be very different than what Robert Eggers does. But I really do just sort of love this whole mythological aspect of Robert Eggers' filmography that he's portraying, and I really hope he keeps it up. Like I said, it is my least favorite of his filmography. Doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I still really did enjoy it, but yeah, you guys should definitely check it out, especially if you're a fan of Robert Eggers, and if you've never seen a Nosferatu film. I would still recommend seeing the other ones. I know the silent film might be a big ask for people these days, but still, check it out. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Sorry I'm not as enthusiastic. I'm just super tired. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I'll see you next time.